question, the member for Scarborough-Guildwood.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is for the Premier. Yesterday, your government introduced Bill 218 under the cover of a COVID response bill. Yet it would bar local municipal governments from using ranked ballot in their local elections. This omnibus legislation comes at a time when municipalities across Ontario are moving toward ranked ballots, and the Premier himself was chosen as his party's leader under this system. My question is, who did the Premier consult with? Who asked for this provision? Why is it so urgent that it merits inclusion in a COVID response bill?
Order.
Did anyone actually ask for this to be done? Or is the Premier steamrolling once again over the independence of Ontario's local municipalities?
The parliamentary assistant to reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I find it a bit ironic coming from the Liberal member, Mr. Speaker. May I remind the member about the promise that their federal leader made in terms of the election reform, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, our proposed changes would bring predictability to municipal elections at a time when Ontarians are focused on their health and safety, make the electoral process consistent
Scarborough-Guildwood,
municipal, provincial and federal elections. A consistent municipal election process would also ensure municipalities avoid unnecessary higher costs associated with ranked ballots. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Supplementary question.
Speaker, this is not about unnecessary higher costs. Let me tell you the benefits of ranked ballot. Speaker, introducing this unrelated this measure during a health crisis is unconscionable. It goes against the spirit of democracy. Ranked ballots produces fairer elections. The results reflect public opinions. They allow for a diversity of voices to be represented in politics. They make democracy better. In the first municipality to use ranked ballots in Canada, London elected its first Black woman as a city councillor, Ariel Kayabaga, to this position. The system is having great success. The procedural fairness of ranked ballot tends to work against groups like this government who benefit from and perhaps prefer the status quo.
Question.
This government won a majority in an election with first past the post with just 40% of the popular vote. Speaker, how can the Premier justify overturning democratically elected and deliberated decisions in Toronto, in Kingston, in Cambridge, in the City of London? Why?
Thank you. The supplementary.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to remind the member opposite that first post-the-post system is a system that is used federally. It is a system that is used provincially, Mr. Speaker, and I am proud to be in this legislature, and I think using the system, I don't think anybody can deny the representation in this legislature is very, very, very diverse. Mr. Speaker, the member pointed out in terms of the London being the city to use it. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to remind everyone in this legislature the costs associated with the system that was only used by the City of London. It cost the taxpayers of London $515,000 additional. That's 40% higher, Mr. Speaker. Ultimately, they would have gotten the exact same result using first-past-the-post system. So it would not have made a difference, Mr. Speaker. We're bringing consistency right across this process.